Okay, we're on problem 6. We're in exercise 68. And again, my encouragement to you is to take a piece of paper, pencil, work the problem. If you find that you can do the problem with little help from anyone else, that's great. We do provide an answer key for you, and the answer key is in that blue area. Some students do need to see me but work through the problem at the whiteboard, and that's what I'm going to do now. All right. So I'm going to go to my whiteboard and blow this up a little bit, and we're doing problem number 6. And we're in problem number 6 in exercise 68. So I'm going to write the system down for you. And I kind of discourage people from doing this, but I have to do it because, I'm talking at a whiteboard now. It's like your teachers are always writing stuff at the board. A lot of times it's a waste of time to do that. They probably should just give you notes and just talk through it, which is what I do. But for some reason, a lot of people need to see people work in order to understand something. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, we're trying to encourage people to work, though. Plus 1 over z. And again, I'll emphasize the way I do something may be different than the way you do it, but the answer in the end can't be different. All right, there's a solution to this problem over here. So what I'd like to do, look at it, and certainly you clear the fractions. I'm not saying you can't, but I do notice something nice about this. If I were to add these things together, I notice that things would disappear. Like, for example, this, if I add all these things together, disappear. And what else would disappear? This would disappear. So I like when things disappear because it makes it easier for me to deal with. And I'll write this down now. So it's going to be what? If I add all 3 equations together, you'd get 1 over y plus 1 over y plus 2 over xy. And then you get 13 plus 1 plus 18. Well, let me do a little bit of work over here. And what do you get? 2 over y plus 2 over xy equals, let's add that together. And what would that give you? Let's see, 19, 20, 32. And what am I going to do now? I'm going to divide through by 2. And you get 1 over y plus 1 over xy equals 16. I'm going to multiply both sides by xy now. And what are you going to get? X plus 1 equals 16xy. And you could either solve this for x or y. And I'll do both for you. So I could say x plus 1 over 16x is equal to y. That's one thing you could do. And if you want to solve for y, you could do that as well. And what would you do? I'll write that down. A little more complicated. You get x minus, whoops, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Let me go backwards a little bit. You would get 1 equals 16xy minus x. You'd factor out an x, and what do you get? You would get 16y minus 1. And so x would equal, I'll write this over here, would equal 1 over 16y minus 1. All right, now someone says, that's a dead end. It's not helped me at all. Well, at least I know a relationship between x and y and x. All right, they're related to each other. Now the question comes, what do you want to do now? Well, I'm kind of looking at it, and I think I have to do something. And I want to go back and look at the original system. And you know what? I think I could use this second equation, because this is a relationship between x and y, right? And since 1 over y minus 1 over x is equal, I'm just looking at the second equation, by the way, is equal to the number 1. And my hope is it's really going to go smoothly. And I got to look at it. And I'm wondering which one to use. And I don't know. This actually looks a little bit easier to me. I'm going to use that. I'm going to plug it in. And what do I know? I know 1 over y minus the reciprocal of x. Well, the reciprocal of x is going to be 16y minus 1 over 1, and that equals 1. What am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to multiply both sides by y, and what do you get? 1 minus y times 16y minus 1 equals, I'm sorry, I'm daydreaming again, equals y. I multiply by y. Let's see if we can do that. You get 1 minus 16y squared plus y is equal to y. Well, things are looking pretty good at this point. And what I mean by that, this turns out to be 1 equals 16y squared. Or, if I want to look at this, y squared 1/16. Or I could say y is equal to plus or minus 1/4. All right? So what I want to do, and I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write, there's two different things I have. I have y equals 1/4, or y equals minus 1/4. Now, I want to do one at a time. I want to go backwards, and someone says, why is that? I'm still looking at this over here, and that's going to be 1 over 16y. I'll write this down. 1 over 16y minus 1 is equal to x. Again, I'm still looking at this over here. And I can write x down in both cases now. What's x going to be? Well, let's take a look. If it's 1/4, I would get 1 on top, and on bottom you get 4 minus 1, which is 3. Or, let's write this one down over here. And I got to be careful now. It's a minus 1/4. So what do you get? You get 1 over minus 5, so minus 1/5. All right? Then someone says, is that it? Well, whoops. Copy error. Give me a second over here. Is there another letter in the problem? There sure is. And what's that letter? Z. Z's a letter. So someone says, which would the easiest one to use to get Z? Maybe the third one. Let me write that down for you. That's 2 over xy. Right, got a third equation. Plus 1 over z is 18. Well, I think I can do it. And let me do this one over here first. And let me just do 2 over xy. Well, xy would be 1/12. So this would this would turn out to be 24. Plus 1 over z equals 18. And that means 1 over z would be minus 6. Or the z would be minus 1/6. Don't worry, you have an HQ to look at later. I'm going to do this one over here. And what's that going to be? Well, yx, if I multiply them together, would be 1/20. So this would be 40 plus 1 over z equals 18. 1 over z, well, that's going to be what? Minus 22, right? So what's z going to be to? Minus 1 over 22. Now, granted, I'm not saying I didn't make any mistakes, and I'm just going to write my answer down. Now, and like I'm saying, when you're doing your homework, you write your answers down, look at the answer key, and see if you feel good about it. If not, you got to go back and do something. But I can write down the triple now. What's going to be? X is 1/3, y is 1/4, and z is minus 1/6. What's the next one? Minus 1/5, minus 1/4, minus 1 over 22. All right, let's go look at the key, and I'll look at the first one, 1/3, 1/4, minus 1/6, minus 1/5, minus 1/4, minus 1 over 22. I feel good about it, and by feeling good about it, I certainly want to move on, all right? So let's call it quits there. We did it.